Before futures learned to wear names, there was only hush. A hush so complete that even the stars forgot which way was forward. In that hush stood a temple, not of stone, but of breath, its columns woven from incense and night, its doors opening only for those who arrived with quiet hands. Pilgrims called it the House of the Veil. They said an oracle lived within, a voice that saw tomorrow, speaking softly enough that fate itself leaned closer to hear. I came long after the torches had learned the hallways by heart. My name was Talia, scribe of borderlands, gatherer of rumors left behind by caravans. I did not come for glory or for kings. I came because sleep had become a river that refused my shore, and every dream I lost returned to me as a whisper. Go to the veil. The temple greeted me without words. Sand cooled underfoot as if it remembered shadows. In the inner court, water stood in a bronze bowl, so still that the moon wore it like a jewel. Around the bowl lay offerings, figs, salt, small clay birds whose wings had never flown. No priest, no guard, only the slow music of breath against stone. A curtain hung where the sanctum began, not silk, not wool, something between smoke and snowfall, the kind of fabric that happens to air when it learns patience. Talia, said the curtain, not a voice, a weightless knowing. It spoke my name the way a mother smooths a child's brow. I did not ask how it knew me. When you stand where time forgets to argue with itself, questions remember their manners. I have only one request, I said. I wish to sleep. The curtain shimmered, and the bowl of water trembled with a circle that did not grow. Then lie down your questions, the oracle whispered, and pick up your listening. The sanctum was a room made of hush and candlelight. It contained almost nothing. An empty chair, a simple mat, a thread of incense like a road between worlds. I sat upon the mat, palms open, spine remembering its kindness.
Across from me, behind a second veil, a shape took form, slender, unmoving, not hidden, preserved. Her face shone the way dawn does inside closed eyelids. Your name, she said, though I had not spoken. Talia. Her tone placed it gently back in my hands, as if it had fallen. I do not want to know my future, I said quickly. Those who chase tomorrow often forget to visit today. You have been visiting today, she answered. Without arriving, the truth settled like warm rain. I haven't slept, I admitted. The dreams come to my doorway and refuse to enter. They breathe, but not with me. The oracle inclined her head. Then let us trade. Your hurry for my silence. Her veil unspooled, slowly, like long hair letting out night birds. Behind it, her eyes were not bright. They were calm, two lakes that had learned the language of wind. Listen, she said. I did not hear words. I heard a pattern, a cadence, as if the world were a loom and someone had just begun to thread it. My heartbeat matched the sound. My breath fell into its cradle. The incense curled in shapes I recognized from dreams, spirals, keys. A small door left ajar. What is it? I asked. Tomorrow, she said, but very quietly. Will you show me? No, she said, smiling without moving her mouth. I will let you listen until you see. She drew a circle with one finger in the air. The candlelight obeyed, resolving into a halo of small flames. Within the halo, the bronze bowl filled itself with sky. Clouds traveled through the water, then returned. A swallow crossed, leaving no ripple. The temple's roof was gone. The night was here. "Close your eyes," she whispered. "And look," I obeyed. Within the dark, pictures came like gentle rains. A field of barley nodding to an invisible drummer. A door in a city that remembered me before I reached it. A sleeping child placing a hand on a wolf's shoulder. And the wolf answering with a sigh older than fear.
They were not prophecies of thunder and crown. They were small, exact, and kind, the kind of future that loves to be kept without boasting. "What do these mean?" I asked. "They are what will arrive if you arrive," she said. "But I came for sleep," I whispered, almost ashamed. "And sleep is a door," she answered. "You do not force a door. You oil the hinge. You remove the stone that keeps it from closing without pain. You turn the handle with breath." She extended her hand. In her palm lay a scrap of linen, soft as the inside of a shell. On it, 3 threads crossed, one gold, one blue, one the color of ash after rain. "Take these colors," she said. "Gold for what you love, blue for what listens to you, and ash for what you must forgive. Braid them each night with your breath. When the braid learns your cadence, your sleep will return to keep it." 11. I held the cloth. It weighed as much as a promise. "Is this a cure?" "It is a rhythm," she said. "Cures end. Rhythms endure. You have been trying to silence your mind. Teach it to sing instead." The incense curled into a shape like a keyhole. Beyond it, I felt the soft pressure of a door that had missed me. "Many come," the oracle continued, her voice hardly stirring the veil, "asking for the empire they will build, the lover they will anchor, the war they will win. I show them pictures and they call it destiny. But destiny is only tomorrow's patience with your choices." Her gaze rested on me the way dusk rests on fields, without demanding, without retreating. Sleep returns to the ones who do not try to own it. A new sound entered the room. Footsteps made of not yet. The veil at the outer threshold brightened like fog with a lantern inside. Someone else had arrived. I knew it without turning. The oracle's eyes flickered. The bowl darkened. "Tonight," she said, "3 pilgrims enter and only 2 leave. Do not fear. It is not a tragedy. It is a remembering."
My breath held itself without asking me. "What must I do?" "Keep your rhythm," she answered, "and carry a fragment of mine." She removed a single thread from her own veil. It was neither fiber nor light, something between the two, and when it touched my palm, the room learned a calmer word for silence. The other pilgrim passed the threshold and sat where shadows taught him gentleness. He was old, but not with time, with grief. His hands trembled as if holding a message that had arrived too late. "Welcome," the oracle said to him, and each syllable settled onto his shoulders like a shawl. He wept without moving. The tears did not fall. They remembered their way back. I bowed and rose, the thread hidden against my skin. The hall led me out as surely as breath leads a lullaby back to silence. At the door I turned. "Oracle," I asked, "what do I owe you?" "Only this," she said. "When you sleep again, dream on purpose. Leave small lights for the ones who come after. Tomorrow is a road best traveled by lantern." Outside, the night had learned to be kind. I sat on the temple steps and braided the 3 threads with my breath. In for gold, out for blue, in for ash, out for all 3 together. The braid warmed. Somewhere far off, a wolf slept without fear. I did not notice when the stars fell into step with me, or when my name began to feel like a place where I could rest. I listened until the pictures inside the dark became gentle. When I finally lay down, the stone took my shape as if it had been waiting. And sleep, the river that had refused my shore, returned like an old friend who had found the path by following my humming. I dreamt of a door in a city that remembered me before I reached it. In the morning I would set out to find it. But for now the future could wait. The veil sighed in the distance, relieved.
When I left the house of the veil, the dawn had not yet decided on a color. The sky was a gray promise, the kind that could still become anything. I walked until the desert turned to stone, and the stone to road. The oracle's words followed me. Tomorrow is a road best traveled by lantern. Each breath felt like a light I was learning to carry. At the edge of the plain I found the city, not by map, but by recognition. It was the one I had seen in the bowl of bronze, a place that remembered me before I reached it. Its gates were open, though no guards stood watch. Wind moved through the archway like a sigh that had waited centuries to finish. The streets were paved with patterns, spirals, stars, and circles like ripples upon sand. When I stepped onto them, the stones seemed to hum faintly underfoot, as though greeting a name they already knew. The city was alive, but not with people. Curtains moved in windows without hands. Fountains sang without water. Shadows changed places as though trading stories. And above all, there was that sound again, a rhythm too quiet to be music, too patient to be silence. The oracle's rhythm, the one I had braided into my sleep. I followed it through narrow alleys where walls leaned close like old friends. At each turn, the air shimmered faintly, the way heat bends light, except this warmth came from memory. Children's laughter echoed in empty courtyards. A baker's song fluttered between ruined arches. The smell of saffron drifted from a market long gone to dust. This city did not die. It remembered living. At the center stood a great plaza of marble, cracked yet luminous. In its middle, a statue lay half buried in petals of sand. A woman with her head lifted to the sky, her hands cupped around something invisible. At her feet, an inscription worn by centuries read, "We are the voices that dreamed of tomorrow, and so tomorrow dreamed of us."
The words glowed faintly when I touched them. A pulse ran from the stone into my palm, soft, alive. "Do you hear it?" a voice asked. I turned, but no one stood there. Only a shadow against the far wall, rippling like smoke. "Yes," I said. "The hum. It is memory," the voice answered. "And memory always sings for those who listen long enough." It was then that I realized the city was not speaking to me. It was speaking through me. Each step I took stirred faint light beneath the stones. The city's rhythm aligned with my breath. The silence shaped itself to my heartbeat. And then, faintly, as if from underwater, the oracle's whisper returned. "The city is your sleep made visible. Walk gently, and it will show you what you already know." I closed my eyes. The air thickened, and sound folded into color. Suddenly, I was walking not among ruins, but through a city newly alive, its towers whole, its windows open, its people laughing beneath banners of blue and gold. Children ran with ribbons trailing behind them like comets. Bells chimed with a sound like clear rain on glass. Every face I passed was both strange and familiar, as though I had dreamed them once and forgotten their names. One of them, a woman with dark hair bound in copper thread, approached me. Her eyes were filled with the same calm that lived in the oracle's veil. "Talia," she said softly, "you returned. How do you know me?" Her smile carried no answer, only remembrance. "You are the scribe who writes what the gods forget to speak aloud." She placed her hand upon my braid, the one woven with the threads of gold, blue, and ash. It pulsed gently and she nodded. "The rhythm lives. That means the veil still breathes." "What is this place?" I asked. She looked toward the sun, which was just beginning to rise. "This is the breath between dreams," she said. "The space where what will be learns to listen to what was."
Her words shimmered around me like heat. Then the ground beneath us trembled, a heartbeat too vast to belong to stone. The towers began to fade, their golden banners dissolving into light. "You must wake before the city remembers itself too deeply," she warned. "Why?" I asked. "Because memory, once seen too clearly, becomes destiny, and destiny cannot sleep." Her form blurred. Her voice softened until it became one with the hum. I opened my eyes. The plaza was empty once more. The statue watched me, serene, her hands still cupping something invisible. But in that invisible space I saw it, a faint shimmer of the same braid I carried, woven from gold, blue, and ash. The city and I shared the same breath. We remembered each other. As I left, the wind carried a whisper across the marble square. To remember is to return. To forget is to arrive. I understood then that the oracle's gift was not prophecy, but echo. Every step forward was the world remembering how to be whole again. I turned once more toward the horizon, and the dawn at last chose its color.
When dawn fully arrived, the city faded like breath on glass. Only the rhythm remained, a soft pulse in the air, patient and knowing. I followed it westward, toward the edge where the dunes met the sea. There, half buried in salt and time, stood a mirror, not framed in gold nor silver, but in silence. Its surface was dull, not from age, but restraint, as though it waited for something worthy to appear. The oracle's words returned. "Tomorrow is a road best traveled by lantern." The mirror was that lantern. It held no light of its own, yet everything near it glowed. When I touched the glass, it was warm, not with heat, but heartbeat. For an instant I saw my reflection. Then it dissolved into ripples, revealing a sky that moved beneath the sea. From the mirrored surface rose a whisper. Not sound, but memory remembered aloud. It spoke in the voice of the oracle, though softer, more intimate, as though distance itself had turned to breath. "You are walking backward through your own echo." "I don't understand," I said. "You will. The future does not come toward you. It opens behind you when you are brave enough to leave the door unguarded." Images began to shimmer within the mirror. The city alive again, bells swaying, ribbons of light streaming from the rooftops. A child braiding threads of gold, blue, and ash by candlelight. A wolf asleep beside her. It was me, or perhaps it was a memory of the world dreaming me. The mirror trembled. The child looked up. Her eyes were the same as mine and said, "You left the door open." The vision shattered, not into pieces, into words.
Thousands of them, drifting through the air like falling petals. Dream/listen/return/begin. Each word struck the sand and vanished into light. Behind me the sea inhaled. Waves rose, not in anger but remembrance. And from within their white crests came figures, transparent, luminous, walking as though gravity was just a thought. They were the echoes of those who once sought the oracle. Men and women of every age, each carrying something small. A shell, a candle, a coin. Their faces were calm, like reflections freed from glass. The first of them spoke. "We are the words that were never written." The second, "We are the futures that chose to stay quiet." The third, "And you are the breath that carries us forward." The mirror brightened. Its surface opened like a window onto starlight below water. And within that light I saw the oracle. She stood not behind the veil now, but within the reflection. Her hands rested on the same bronze bowl that had once held the sky. "Talia," she said, "do you know why you were sent?" I shook my head. "Because every seer forgets the sound of her own voice, and every listener, one day, must learn to speak." The wind slowed. The water around the mirror lifted into a spiral, like the breath of the world itself. "Speak," she said. "Say the name of what you seek." I hesitated. I had come to find sleep, to find stillness. But now I knew. Stillness without purpose is only silence pretending to listen. So I whispered, "Truth." The mirror shuddered once. Then it answered, not with light but with memory. Scenes poured through it. 1,000 lives. Sailors, healers, queens, beggars. Each dreaming the same dawn. Each carrying the same braid of 3 colors, though worn in different ways. And in every reflection, one thing remained constant, the whisper, the oracle's voice, passing from age to age, vessel to vessel, until it reached me. The vision ended.
I stood before the mirror, its surface now calm. My reflection returned, older somehow, eyes filled with quiet knowing. Behind me, the echo figures bowed and faded back into the sea. I touched the glass once more and heard, faintly, "You have spoken. Now listen to what you have become." When I turned, the dunes were gone. The world around me shimmered like air above flame, alive, uncertain. A new path stretched ahead, woven from light and sand, leading toward the horizon where the sky breathed like a sleeping god. I took my first step, and the mirror, still half buried in the earth, reflected not me, but the dawn walking forward in my place. The mirror lay half buried in the sand. I walked toward the horizon. The wind carried not the desert's impatience, but the sigh of a door left open. Each time I listened to my own rhythm, light trembled beneath my feet, as though the stones had been waiting for my steps for centuries. The road was invisible, but it was there. With every breath, a small spark appeared on the sand and faded. Only the rhythm remained. At the third breath of day, I saw the first lantern. No pole, no chain, it floated in the air, a flame drawn from the heart of emptiness itself. The fire did not burn, it listened. When I approached, it leaned toward me. In its glass, I saw not a reflection but a question. "Which name have you forgotten to carry?" I did not answer. The names I knew felt like clothes too heavy for this light. The lantern approved my silence. Its flame brightened and revealed the next step of the path. The second lantern waited at a bend in the trail. Inside its glass floated 3 threads, gold, blue, and ash, siblings to the braid I wore around my wrist. Before the flame could touch it, the braid hummed. Wind circled me like a harp's breath. Far away, a wolf sighed as if dreaming of peace. The way back to sleep, I thought, is the refrain of a song I already know.
Beneath the third lantern stood a man, an old traveler with empty hands and eyes like deep evening. His face was creased like a letter that had been folded for 100 years. "Did you look into the mirror too?" I asked. "I did," he said. "I carried a silence made of glass on my shoulders. Since then, my words grew lighter and my solitude heavier. The flame between us warmed the air." From his pocket he took a small clay tablet engraved with a single letter, Y unfinished. "For names I never completed," he said. "Perhaps someone will come and finish them with their breath." He placed the tablet in the flame. It was consumed without smoke, and the night grew slightly brighter. The road extended 2 steps further. At the 4th lantern, the wind shifted. Among the dunes appeared a path of stone, each stone vibrating with a low, listening tone. As I walked, the tones merged into a pulse. Enter, wait, release. A veil appeared before me, not of fabric but of breath. The thread I held in my hand learned my fingerprints and glowed faintly. Its music turned all my haste into a gentle, knowing walk. "Tomorrow," a voice said, "opens only for steps that carry patience." The 5th lantern stood by a shore where no sea remained. A dry basin remembered the shape of tides. Within the glass was a child braiding threads. "You left the door open," she said, smiling. "Yes," I answered. "Who walked through?" "Your breath," she said, "and a few unfinished names." The lines of sand briefly turned blue like water, then quieted again. The 6th lantern hung where shadows exchanged places. Here the road split like a mirror. One path glowed bright, the other breathed softly. The bright path cried, "Faster!" promising crowns and applause. The quiet one said nothing, but matched the weight of my heart exactly. The oracle's words returned. "Destiny is tomorrow's patience with your choices." I lifted the ash-colored thread to my lips. "I forgive," I whispered, my own haste. Then I took the quiet road. The lantern followed, not behind me, but within me. At the 7th lantern, the road stopped. Before me lay a stone threshold and a bronze bowl embedded in it, the same that once held the sky. This time, it held no water, only breath, visible as a tremor in the air. "Set down what you carry," a whisper said. I placed my hands over the bowl. Gold, what I love. Blue, what listens to me. Ash, what I must forgive. One by one, I released them. The bowl did not take them. It gave me back myself. The road began again. The night scattered stars like seeds across the sand. Under that light, the lanterns merged into a single pulse. Not a row of lights, but one unbroken breath of fire. Far ahead, a door veiled in light appeared, without symbol or seal, only a familiar rhythm beating from within. "The House of the Veil," I whispered. "You teach me to walk forward by returning." When I reached the door, the veil recognized my steps. "Talia," it said, as it had on the first night, "what have you brought?" "Emptiness," I answered, "and the light that keeps it company." The veil unfolded like a wave. The oracle's form appeared, not from within, but from closeness. "You have learned to speak," she said. "Now carry your silence." She placed a small crystal in my palm, neither mirror nor bowl, but a seed of lantern light. Inside it glowed a flame that did not burn, only waited. "Where shall I take this?" I asked. "To the city that remembers your steps," she said. "There is a door that knew you before you arrived. This time, you must remember it." When I turned back, The path did not vanish. Each footprint became a tiny light calling sleep home. Far off, the old man's letter, Y, glowed within the sand, completing itself into the word whole. The wind sang through my braid of 3 colors, gold for love, blue for listening, ash for forgiving. Together they became one voice, and sleep came to meet it, unhurried, certain. When I passed the mirror again, it no longer reflected me. It held the morning itself. I placed my hand upon the glass and felt beneath it the heartbeat of 1,000 silent lanterns. Tomorrow, I said, I will call you by a whisper. The mirror rippled. The sand turned to water. The road opened once more. For those who listen, the road of lanterns ended where the sky began to breathe. There was no wall, no horizon, only a slow turn of color, as if the world had forgotten how to decide between dawn and dusk. In that turning stood a gate made of air and memory. When I stepped through it, the ground softened into moss, and a fragrance rose like music without instruments. The garden of echoes, the oracle had whispered of it once. Here, every word ever spoken returned as a seed. The air glowed with sound. Every breath I took shimmered with voices I knew and voices I did not. Some mine, some ancient, all gentle. Leaves murmured in languages older than wind. Petals opened to reveal ripples of laughter, and streams flowed not with water but with phrases half remembered by the world. I heard the words I once spoke to the mirror, truth. They had taken root and blossomed into a tree of light. A woman waited beneath it. Her face was the face of every listener who ever sat before the oracle. Eyes closed, hands open, breathing in the music of the air. When she spoke, it was not a voice but a resonance that passed through me. Each echo is a promise that a word was once believed. I knelt beside her. Whose garden is this?
Yours, she said. Every seer must tend what they leave behind. As I walked, I saw the flowers change color with each memory I touched. Gold for joy, blue for listening, ash for forgiveness. The 3 threads alive again, woven into petals. Each echo I heard bent toward me as if recognizing its origin. A word I spoke in anger, now softened. A song I forgot to finish, now hummed by the wind. The garden does not judge, the woman said. It remembers you kindly, even when you did not remember yourself. I reached a clearing where no flowers grew. Only a pool, still and dark, as if made from the pause between heartbeats. When I looked into it, I saw nothing, then everything. The lantern seed the oracle had given me began to glow in my palm. Its light fell into the water, and the surface bloomed with circles of gold and silver. In those circles I saw the faces of those I had met. The old traveler, the child, the city that remembered me, and the oracle herself. They were woven together by breath. The pool spoke in light, not sound. You have learned to listen, to speak, to walk, to forgive. But to see tomorrow, you must learn to let go of yesterday's echo. The words appeared as ripples that touched my hands and faded. I knew what it meant. The garden was not a place of returning. It was a place of releasing. So I took a breath and spoke into the air. I release what has already been heard. The flowers answered by closing their petals. The garden fell silent, not empty, but complete. And in that stillness, a new sound was born, the first heartbeat of a future I could finally dream. The woman stood and placed a hand on my shoulder. Every oracle has 2 voices, she said. One for the world, and one for the world within. She pointed to the pool, where the lantern seed had taken root and blossomed into a light flower. It rose slowly from the water like a small sun and floated into my chest.
Now you carry the fifth gift, the echo that listens back. The sky shifted. The colors of dawn and dusk merged into one soft glow. The path of light appeared again, leading upward toward the horizon. Behind me, the garden whispered its farewell. What you release will one day return as peace. I walked forward, light blooming in my chest, each step a note in a song the world had been waiting to remember. The path of light rose through the sky like a spiral woven from breath. Each step brought me closer to the sound of a heartbeat too vast to belong to one being. It was not thunder, it was memory waking up. Far below, the garden of echoes shimmered like a dream folding itself back into silence. Ahead, a new light emerged, not white, not gold, but color itself before it was named. The oracle stood in that light. Her veil was gone. Her eyes were clear as water before creation. Talia, she said, the world has listened. Now it asks for your answer. My answer, I whispered. Every seer must return what she has taken from silence. The flame within my chest flickered. It wanted to speak but had no words. The oracle lifted her hands, and the sky unfolded into mirrors. Each mirror showed a moment from my journey, the city of sand, the road of lanterns, the garden of voices. You did not walk through these places, she said. They walked through you. Then she stepped back, and the mirrors tilted toward me like petals opening to light. Their surfaces rippled and merged into one vast reflection, the face of a world about to remember itself. The flame within me rose. It spoke in a language that did not need sound, the language of breath becoming truth. The mirrors responded, their light forming lines of script across the air. I could read them without reading. Every word was a pulse of knowing. There is no future to foresee. There is only tomorrow listening through you.
There is only tomorrow listening through you. I understood. The oracle was not a person. She was the world hearing itself through human breath. Light began to gather around us. It did not blind. It revealed. Each color became a memory of someone who had once dreamed of peace. Blue for those who listened, gold for those who loved, ash for those who forgave. They rose like lanterns, drifting into the sky until the heavens themselves looked alive with remembrance. You see them? The oracle asked. Yes, I said. They're singing. No, she smiled. They're sleeping and dreaming you. A circle of light appeared beneath my feet, the mirror of tomorrow. It reflected not my face, but 1,000 possible worlds. Each one was quietly asking, which dream will you choose to believe? I closed my eyes and let the answer come from the deepest place of breath. Not words, but a pulse. Promise of continuance. The oracle placed her hand on my heart. You have found what I once lost, the moment between question and answer. Guard it. Speak from it. Sleep within it. Her form began to fade, becoming light, then memory, then song. The air around me shimmered with the softest whisper. Tomorrow is the dream that remembers you back. When I opened my eyes, I was standing where it all began. The first veil, the first breath, the silence before sound. The mirror lay before me once again, but this time it reflected the sky itself. Stars like words unwritten, waiting for the breath that would speak them awake. I leaned close and whispered, listen. The stars answered by becoming music. And as the first light of a new dawn rose beyond the horizon, I realized I had never been searching for the oracle. I was the oracle, the voice that saw tomorrow because it finally learned how to listen today. The wind carried my breath into the world, and the world answered with a single infinite word. Begin.